Hello, so in this video I'm going to be giving advice for people going to apply for a social work course and specifically looking at the written exercise. So often people are given a case study, but you may be given something similar like a news article, something like that. I'm going to assume that you're looking at a case study when I'm giving you this answer because quite a lot of people have said that that's what they've been given. So these are some tips for that. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for practical tips to help social workers and students. So the first thing to do is familiarise yourself with the text that you've been given. So if this is a case study, read through it and underline or circle key points that you come across, because that'll help you to formulate your bullet points and your answers. And then when you write your introduction, you can look at those key points and sort of tell the reader what you're going to be touching on. That doesn't mean that you have to sort of document every single thing that you're going to go into, because you need to be concise in your introduction, but showing that you thought this through will provide a clear outline for the rest of what you're going to write. In the middle section, make sure that you're being analytical in your response. So that's not just regurgitating exactly what was on the initial case study, but actually unpicking it and thinking of factors which are affecting the individuals involved. So think about external factors to the person or the people, because social work requires us to not lay blame on the individuals involved, but think about what may be outside of that person affecting them. So that could be if they're living in poverty, if they're employment issues or mental health issues, anything like that that might be impacting on their situation or ability to cope. Thinking about what strengths the person may have, so if you see any signs of that, that's key. Any coping mechanisms that may stand out to you, or thinking about the system around that person. So if you notice that they have a support system already from reading it, then that's important to pull out, and that's something that you would sort of work upon with that individual, because that's something that we do as part of taking a strengths perspective in social work. Also thinking about who's involved. So if there's multiple people in the case study, make sure you're looking at that and look at how they're interrelated. So if there's multiple children involved and they may be telling you about a situation where there's abuse, you need to be thinking about the safety of not only the individual concerned but also the rest of the family. The same in adults. If there's neglect or abuse with one person, that may be impacting on the rest of the family, and you need to be thinking about that when you're looking at risk. Also thinking about the environment the person's in and whether there need to be any changes in that. Also, something that's good to think about with case studies is sort of being balanced in how you would address a risky situation. So they wouldn't be looking at you to go in all guns blazing and looking at removing that person from that situation straight away. You'd be looking at how you could support the person to manage what's going on. Think carefully about your response. You're not required to sort of provide something that is an exact answer, because the people marking your answer will know that in reality you don't have all the information you need, because that comes from actually meeting with people and having a full ability to look at the situation holistically. But rather, what they're looking for is your ability to look at a situation and think widely about what you would do and what you would consider. So use this answer as a way of just considering everything you would consider in this situation, but try and put your answer in a really concise way, which is not overly filled with lots of jargon or long words, because they're not looking for that. They're looking for your ability to show that you can actually put across an answer in a clear way. They'll be looking at your ability to structure paragraphs and also use good grammar. You need to think about ethical considerations, because that's key to social work. So balancing competing interests, that may be competing interests of multiple parties involved. there may be someone where it's a priority for them for something to happen to keep them safe or happy, but then that could have a negative effect on someone else. So these are things to consider. Also the care and control debate around, we're there to promote autonomy, but also we have a duty to safeguard people from risk and safeguard them from abuse and neglect as well. But we also need to be careful about not overstepping our mark as well. So there's lots of complex things that can happen in situations. So it's just being sort of mindful and showing your awareness of those sorts of issues. You also need to show that you're someone with good values and communication skills, so that you know that it's important to be empathetic with people. So overall, this written test is not about you knowing it all. It's just about your ability to write down an answer and show potential to be able to have good written skills, because you will be developing them if you get onto the course, but it's just showing that you have a starting point in which they can develop those skills and that you're ready for this level of study.